In the dim glow of a upscale restaurant's chandelier, four shadowy figures burst through the doors, their faces twisted in rage, guns drawn and aimed at the billionaire CEO sipping his wine alone at the corner table. Chaos erupted, screams, shattered glass, and the crack of gunfire. But amid the terror, a lone waiter, a single dad named Alex, dropped his tray and unleashed a hidden fury that would rewrite everyone's fate. What if I told you that by the end of this night, not only would lives be saved, but a forgotten hero would rise from the ashes of his own broken dreams? Stick around, because this story of redemption and unexpected strength will leave you inspired, and if it moves you, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that prove ordinary people can change everything. Alex Thompson wiped the sweat from his brow as he balanced a tray of steaming plates through the bustling dining room of La Bellevue, one of the city's most exclusive French bistros. At 35, he looked older than his years, with lines etched around his eyes from sleepless nights and a perpetual hunch in his shoulders from carrying the weight of the world. By day, he was just a waiter, polite, efficient, invisible to the wealthy patrons who barely glanced up from their lobster bisque. But at night, after his shifts, he rushed home to his tiny apartment where his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, waited with her homework and her endless questions about why mommy wasn't coming back. Lily was the light of his life, the reason he pushed through the exhaustion. 2 years ago, his wife, Sarah, had been taken by a sudden illness, a rare cancer that drained their savings and left him drowning in debt. He'd sold everything, the house, the car, even Sarah's jewelry, just to cover the bills. Now, he scraped by on tips, working double shifts while Lily stayed with a neighbor who pitied them. "Daddy, when are we going to have a real home again?" she'd ask, her big blue eyes mirroring Sarah's. Alex would force a smile and say, "Soon, sweetheart. Daddy's working on it." But inside, he felt like a failure, a man who'd once dreamed big but now just survived. That fateful evening started like any other. The restaurant was packed with the elite, lawyers in tailored suits, actresses dripping in diamonds, and at table 12, the guest of honor, Victor Harlan, the billionaire CEO of Harlan Tech, a company that revolutionized AI and made him one of the richest men alive. Harlan was in his 50s, sharp-featured with a reputation for ruthlessness in business but a surprising softness in person. He'd come alone, nursing a glass of Bordeaux, perhaps escaping the isolation that came with his fortune. Alex had served him before, the man tipped generously and always asked about the staff's day, a rarity in this crowd. As Alex approached with Harlan's entree, a perfectly seared filet mignon, he overheard snippets of conversation from nearby tables. Whispers about Harlan's latest deal, a merger that would displace thousands of workers. "He's a monster," one diner muttered. Alex ignored it. Politics and corporate drama weren't his world. He set the plate down with a quiet, "Enjoy, sir," and Harlan nodded gratefully. "Thank you, Alex. Rough night?" "A little," Alex admitted, surprised the billionaire remembered his name from the name tag. "But we're managing." Harlan's eyes softened. "Family?" "Just me and my daughter," Alex said, his voice catching slightly. Before Harlan could respond, the front doors slammed open. 4 men stormed in, masked and armed, their boots thudding against the marble floor. "Nobody move," the leader barked, his voice muffled but menacing. Panic rippled through the room like a wave. Diners froze, forks midway to mouths. One woman screamed, and a glass tumbled to the floor, shattering the silence. The intruders fanned out, 2 blocking the exits, the others advancing on Harlan. "Victor Harlan," the leader snarled, pointing a pistol at him. "You ruined our lives. That factory you shut down? Our jobs, our families, gone because of you." Alex's heart pounded. He recognized the desperation in the man's voice, it mirrored his own struggles. These weren't professional hitmen, they were ordinary guys pushed to the edge, former employees perhaps, driven by loss and anger. But desperation made them dangerous. Harlan raised his hands slowly. "Please, let's talk. I can help." Too late, one of the men shouted, firing a warning shot into the ceiling. Plaster rained down, and screams filled the air. Patrons dove under tables, waitstaff scattered. Alex instinctively thought of Lily. What if he didn't make it home tonight? He backed toward the kitchen, but something stopped him. Harlan was alone, vulnerable, and these men looked ready to kill. In that moment, fragments of Alex's past flickered in his mind. Before Sarah, before the debt, before the waiting tables, Alex had been someone else. A Marine, deployed in hostile territories, trained in hand-to-hand combat and crisis response. He'd left the service after an injury, a shattered knee from a roadside bomb that ended his career but honed skills he never thought he'd use again. He'd buried that life, focusing on being a dad, but now, with lives on the line, it surged back. One of the attackers lunged at Harlan, grabbing him by the collar. "You're coming with us, or we start shooting innocents." The billionaire struggled, but he was no fighter. Alex's pulse raced. He couldn't just hide. Dropping his tray with a clatter, he moved silently, using the shadows of the upturned tables. His knee ached, a reminder of old wounds, but adrenaline drowned it out. The first assailant never saw him coming. Alex struck from behind, a precise chop to the neck, disarming the man in seconds. The gun skidded across the floor. "What the?" The leader spun, but Alex was already on him, using a takedown he'd practiced 1,000 times. They crashed to the ground, Alex's arm locking around the man's throat in a chokehold. "Drop it." Alex growled, his voice steady despite the fear. The other two hesitated, shocked by the waiter's sudden transformation. One fired wildly, the bullet grazing Alex's shoulder, burning like fire. Pain exploded, but he didn't let go. Harlan, seizing the moment, grabbed a fallen chair and swung it at the nearest attacker, knocking him off balance. Chaos ensued, diners screamed, but some, inspired, began to help, throwing plates and creating distractions. Alex's mind flashed to Lily again. "I have to get home," he muttered through gritted teeth. With a surge of strength, he disarmed the leader, twisting the gun free. The fourth man charged, but Alex anticipated it, sidestepping and delivering a knee to the gut, his bad knee protesting but holding. The man doubled over, gasping. In under a minute, all four were subdued, zip-tied with tablecloths by quick-thinking staff as sirens wailed in the distance. Police swarmed the restaurant, cuffing the attackers and praising the hero waiter. Harlan, bruised but alive, clasped Alex's hand. "You saved my life. How can I repay you?" Alex winced, clutching his bleeding shoulder. "Just, make sure my daughter knows her dad's okay." The news exploded overnight. Headlines screamed, "Single dad waiter thwarts billionaire attack with military prowess." Reporters camped outside Alex's apartment, but he shielded Lily, hugging her tight as she cried in relief. "Daddy, you're a superhero," she said, her eyes wide. But the real change came days later. Harlan visited, not with fanfare, but quietly. "Alex, I looked into your story. Your wife's illness, the debts, it's not right. Let me help." He offered a job at Harlan Tech, not as a waiter, but in security, using Alex's skills. And more, a fund to cover Lily's education, a new home. "You've got talent hidden away. Time to let it shine." Alex hesitated. "I don't want charity." "It's not," Harlan insisted. "It's investment in a good man." "Those attackers? They were from a plant I closed. I see now the human cost. You've opened my eyes." The transition wasn't easy. Alex faced doubts. Could he leave the familiar pain behind? Nightmares of the attack haunted him, and his shoulder scarred as a reminder. Lily struggled with the move, missing old friends, but she blossomed in their new life, joining dance classes Sarah had always dreamed of for her. Months passed. Alex thrived at Harlan Tech, training teams with his expertise, while Harlan reformed his company, creating retraining programs for displaced workers. The attackers faced justice, but Harlan advocated for leniency, recognizing their desperation stemmed from systemic failures. One evening, as Alex tucked Lily in, she whispered, "Mom would be proud, Daddy." Tears welled in his eyes. "She is, kiddo. And so am I." This story isn't just about a dramatic rescue, it's about the hidden strengths we all carry, forged in fire and waiting for the right moment. It's about second chances, empathy across divides, and how one act of courage can ripple into lives changed forever. If this tale touched your heart, reminding you that heroes walk among us in everyday guises, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because the world needs more stories like this to inspire us all. Who knows? Your hidden skill might just change everything too.